Yes, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in the world. Welcome back to Football Heritage TV. Slightly earlier than normal this week because I actually have plans to go out for dinner sort of between 6:30 and 7 p.m. So I thought, imagine if I didn't do this show today. People would go, "Oh, you've not done debate Savva because we've beaten Man City." So I said, "Okay, let's put it on earlier." And here we are, Football Heritage TV. This is who I am. Big up to each and every one of you. It's been a very interesting time lately on YouTube, hasn't it? You know, all the YouTubers are playing nice and friendly together as always. Like it. I was just speaking to someone, said it's almost like viewers of YouTube sort of see all the YouTubers as some sort of characters in some sort of reality TV show. I won't say who that was, but it did make me laugh because I thought, yeah. And that's absolutely what it is. People that are pigeonholed into characters that they're not. And also the same person I was talking to, we were having a conversation about, isn't it funny how people have got this persona? I got this idea about people's persona through what they see on their football, on their football opinions. Sorry, I don't know what's happened to Frank there. I don't know what happened. And it's so true. It's so true, isn't it? It's I see a lot of people say to me, "Oh, I hate that YouTuber. Oh, he's horrible." And I'm like, "No, he's a really nice person." What you mean to say is you don't like their view, but hey, it is what it is. And I guess what I struggle with is when I turn off the YouTube and I go and sit with my wife, or I go out with my friends, or whatever I'm doing. I never ever actually think that, oh my God, they'll be talking about me on that channel, or they'll be talking about me in this chat room. I just think it's just football, isn't it? Like, this is what we did growing up. So, you know, it is what it is. But listen, this is Debate Savva. This is a chance where people can come on, have their say. What I would ask is, it would be great to mix it up as well. People are allowed to come on, but it would be great for people to have something to come on and say. I don't want this to just be a room where the same people come on every time. It would be great to get some new voices. I'm not saying you can't come on if you've not been on before, but again, this is a chance. People might agree with what I say. They might disagree with what I say. This is the opportunity for people to come on, have that conversation, and whether you might have something you want to vent about, you might have something that you don't like from the club or the manager or the chairman or the players. This is the chance to do that. But as I always say, please come on. This week, I will be militant with it. If anybody joins backstage, and when I say backstage, they go into a holding room. And if you don't have your camera on, you will be blocked immediately. We had a couple of, what's the polite word? We had a couple of characters that came in last week that tried to upset the apple cart, so to speak. And yeah, that won't be happening again. You must have your camera on. Please have something that you want to talk about. It's not for you to come on and just stare at me and then I have to ask you a question. I want to know what has made you join this show. What do you want to talk about? Malachi, don't you worry, man. Listen, these mix-ups happen all the time. Sometimes it's probably me being a bit overprotective because so many people attack me. So don't worry about that. Big up. Let's see who we've got in the chat before we go to opening up the lines. Big up to Finn Rickwood. How you doing, buddy? Hope you're well. Vinny Rowley. By the way, guys, girls, all my mods, please. I'm not saying any of you have, but let's not just block people for anything, all right? I only want abusive people to be blocked if they're starting to really annoy others. If they're abusive, then we block them. Other than that, let's not be block happy, please. But big up to everybody. Mark Taylor's in the chat. Hope you're well, Mark. Hope you're well. Big up to Sue. Mario 2012 is in the house. Adam Jones. Lena is in the house. Big up, Lena. Phil P with his woo. Can't ever do that. My voice is too husky to do that. I can't do it. Can't do it. Big up to Ethan Bates. Hope you're well. Big up to Sam Smith. Please don't bring Rico on. We're not going to be bringing Rico on. It gets tedious when it's the same. It's the same person saying the same thing. You know what I mean? It's like, cool. I get it. You think Levy's done a great job for our club. Cool. Hire him. Hire him if you think he's done a good job. You ain't ever going to change my mind on that one. Big up to Tony Rodriguez in the chat as well. We've got Abdegani's in the chat. Good evening to you. Dutch in the chat said, how many goals did Defoe score in his season in a Spurs shirt? I don't know the question because Jermaine Defoe had many seasons in a Spurs shirt. Loved Jermaine Defoe. Absolutely loved him. Billy Wilson, Neil, to big up Savva. What time are you on till? I might be able to come on after 7. I won't be on till 7, I'm afraid, Billy. I won't. I'm meeting friends for dinner tonight at 7. We are going for a curry. Oh, I've starved myself all day for this one. It's a very nice curry house, so I won't be on, I'm afraid. Big up for Nate. I said, Savva, pick 5 players from the Premier League, not top 6 clubs to improve Spurs. Can't pick West Ham, Newcastle, or Villa. Right, hang on, Nate. So, not the top 6 club, not the top 6 clubs, and not West Ham, Newcastle, or Villa. To improve Spurs, can't pick West Ham. What? Why? So, is it the bottom half you want me to pick from? Is that what we're saying here? Let me know. Is that you want me to pick from the bottom half, basically? Why am I not allowed Newcastle players or West Ham players? Big up, El Tel Cockerel. Hope you're well, my man. I meant not top 6 and West Ham, Newcastle. Yeah, no, I get what you mean. I don't understand why, but big up to you. Big up to Ryan in the chat. You well. Big up to Amari. Josh is in the house. Good evening. There he is. There he is. Big up. Ronaldo is in the house. Said, Savva, gonna admit you were wrong about Ange. Not a single manager has beaten Pep 4-0. Oh, yeah, one game. I've changed. Yeah, you're right. You got me. I am that weak of a human being. You've got me. You got me. Yes, Ronaldo. Unless that's Ronaldo without the L. You got me. You got me. One win, and I change all of my philosophies and beliefs. Oh, gee, I love it. 1 minute, Man City are rubbish. They're finished. They're gone. The next minute, we beat them 4-0. Make up your minds. Make up your minds. Big up to Acid Twin. Hope you're well. Big up, Ben. He's getting a beer. Good for you. You get a beer. You get a beer. In his first season, gosh, Defoe in his first season. Oh, God, we're going about 20 years, aren't we? I'm not sure. Let's have a look, shall we? Let's have a little cheeky look at Jermaine Defoe. Jermaine Defoe. He's a yiddo. Love Jermaine Defoe. Love a little Jermaine Defoe in our squad now. I really would. Jermaine Defoe, what did he do in his first season at Spurs? Oh, hang on. There's a lot on him there. His first season at Spurs. Where are we? His first season at Spurs. Jermaine Defoe got... well, in his first season, he joined midway through and he got 7 in 15. And his second season, he got 22 in 44. So that's Jermaine Defoe. In his first couple of years for Tottenham Hotspur. Cunha and Mbeumo. Yeah, Cunha, he's done really well, hasn't he? I really like him. Pacey, powerful, scores goals. I'll be really interested to see. I'll be really interested to see how long he stays at Wolves for. And Mbeumo, another good player. I'd really like him. Savva, watch out for the Dutch guy. Okay, we'll watch out. We'll watch out. We know how it is. Damn. I said, hi, Savva. Hope for a good show. Always hoping for a good show. I'm going to put the link in the chat. Please bear in mind what I said earlier. I'd love to get some new voices on. I'd love to get some different characters in and start hearing some thoughts from people. By the way, it doesn't have to, I called it debate, Savva. It doesn't have to be that you come on and go, I hate you. Your opinion sucks. It doesn't have to be that. It could be, hey, listen, I disagree with this, but I like this. Or you could just want to vent about something, but feel free to get on. But please, let's keep it clean, cameras on. And please note that this is me taking a real big chance when I let people onto my channel that I don't know. Big up to Phil Coyce. Hope you're well. Jonas has said, Ronald Koeman beat Pep 4-0. Is a 4-0 win against City not enough? For what? For what, Ronaldo? I mean, it all depends what you want. If I'm saying, is that a great win? Absolutely. Superb win. Brilliant. Was my prediction wrong? Absolutely. My opinion was that Man City would beat Spurs 2-1. But is it enough for me to change my mind on the consistency? Not at the moment. Not for me. Not for me. Let's bring on Josh. Oh, look who it is. It is Josh. Josh.
Savva, how you doing, mate?
I'm good. You don't look young anymore. You don't look old, but you just don't look 15 or 16 anymore. How you doing, bro?
I'll tell you what, I'm doing well, mate. I'm doing well. Just focusing. Obviously watching your content, you grow. I'll be honest. I was kind of gutted that you stopped for a bit, but then when I saw you come back, I was happy. You know what? The old Savva, the sad Savva that everyone says is all back.
Yeah, listen, look, I needed a few months, man. I needed to regather my thoughts, decide if it's what I wanted to do. And I said to myself, if I miss it, I'll go back.
100%.
But slightly different, right? Slightly different. I'm in a much better frame of mind now and yada, yada, yada. But Josh, talk to me. Tottenham Hotspur football, talk to me.
Look, you wanted people to come on, give their own, ideas, so you don't have to ask the questions. So look, I just thought I'd bring up this talking point that, obviously we got the midfield that we all talk about. We always talk about that midfield. But do you think that there is a potential that we could be playing Kulusevski and Maddison in sort of a role yesterday where that right wing, we didn't really have a right winger yesterday, if you understand what I'm saying. Yesterday, I meant Saturday day afternoon. We didn't really have a winger there. So do you think we could be potentially seeing this Kulusevski right wing and Maddison cam position again?
Do you know what? It's such a good talking point. It truly is a good talking point. And I don't think there's a right or wrong answer here to this. One thing I do know, and this is my personal opinion, Josh, you've got to find a way to get them both in. I don't think 100%. That we're good enough outside of those two to not play them both. I'm a fan of Maddison's. I think that he is the playmaker that we wanted. I mean, you look at all those years when we said, "Oh, we need a playmaker." Then we get one, and then we start going, "Oh, but he doesn't work hard enough, and he doesn't track back." And it's like he's a playmaker. That's not where his skill set is. At the same time, Kulu is not an out right winger, but I loved what happened Saturday. He mixed it up. Some of the times he spent, going out wide, trying to bully Vardiol, pressing him.
Yeah.
The rest of the time he spent coming inside. And I think there's a world, especially in these fluid football formations, where, yes, when at the beginning of a game where they show the formation. I don't think we have to stay there. And if you look at all the great teams, the Barcelonas, the Man Cities, the Ajaxes, all of these teams, their players have, interchanged and moved around. And
it's so just there's Sky Sports to help us understand it a little bit easier. No, I 100% understand you. Like I'm just looking at that team, specifically Kulusevski, and I'm saying to myself, well, it's not a right wing type of role that he's playing. It's so much more in depth about it. It's the fact that he's pressing. One moment he can be pressing like a striker. One moment we can see him play as a striker or pressing. As something that he's much better than Johnson at. Yet all of a sudden we can see him drop deep and helping defense. But according to Sky Sports or whatever, he's supposed to be playing on that wing. I just thought that, the weird thing about this, and I've said this many times, and I've probably said this to you as well. Whenever that CDM plays well, whoever it will be, this time, whether it's Bentancur, Sarr, I know Sarr doesn't play it, but whoever that CDM spot is, when they have a good game, it usually affects a positive effect on that cam position. And we saw that versus City. The Bissouma role, he did get a yellow card, but he had a very, very, very solid game. And that just allowed Maddison to have the free and to dictate play at the front and not have to worry about, okay, damn it, I'm gonna have to come back to defend because my two midfielders or my CDM isn't strong enough. What do you think about that CDM spot? Obviously, yes, we do need to get one in January. But do you understand my point in regards to the effect, the positive effect or the negative effect?
Absolutely. Look, I think the whole kind of CDM number 6, whatever we want to call it, this conversation's been going on for years, right?
Yeah.
I always think it depends on what you want to be, Josh. Do we want to be a team that challenges for top 4? Fine. The players we've got in midfield are good enough.
Right.
I think once you go past that, again, everything I say here is my opinion. Once we go past being a team that wants to finish 4th and we stop seeing 4th as success, for me, I think the better teams have better midfielders consistently. Again, I know I use that word a lot, but I think what we have is a collection of midfielders that have good games every now and then. So I thought Sarr and Basuma were excellent in what they did on Saturday. Bentancur for me is either brilliant or non-existent. I think if you want to move that next level, I think you start looking at better footballers. I'm talking about the likes of when we had a Michael Carrick sitting in midfield, a Modric, a Moussa Dembele. When you've got those players that are trusted every game to do what they're meant to do, real men, good in the tackle, good on the ball, that's where I think we move forward as a football club.
Yeah.
But at the moment, listen, I think that the group of midfielders we've got are good enough to get in that top 4 challenge. Whether they get over the line is obviously it's going to depend on form, injury, suspension, number of games we play. But I just think we need a bit more. When you look at the teams that have finished above us, their midfielders are normally very good.
Yeah. No, look, I'm 100%. I mean, I'm thinking about that midfield that that got us to the Champions League final. I know it's kind of lucky as well. I'm just trying to remember which who that Liverpool. Oh yeah, it was Ericsson, Winks, and Sissoko. I'm looking at it now. I mean, look, we're talking about a midfield. At the end of the day, the way my grandpa says, and I 100% agree with him. I believe that the midfield is the success. If we have a good midfield, if we have a strong enough midfield, our team is so much more positive and has so much more of a better chance of winning than having a weak midfield. Now, what I do want to say, and I don't know how many minutes I got left on this, so just feel free to let me know, Savva. But in terms of Premier League teams right now, I mean, we've got such a huge opportunity. We always have. The past 3 matches, we had 3 times to go top 4. I know top 4 isn't a trophy, but we had 3 chances to go top 4 before international break, and we didn't capitalize it. Now this season, we have such a huge opportunity to finish very high in the Premier League table. And whether you like it or not, Man City currently, right now, are not onto it. Arsenal are not onto it. Chelsea have also dropped points. I mean, the likes of Brighton we should be beating. The only team we should really obviously be worrying about is Liverpool. But we really do have a chance to finish as high as possible this season. And again, according to these type of of the sports analysis or whatever it is, we should be 3rd, I think. Now, Savva, obviously, I know that you think top 4 isn't a trophy, but how much better would it be to be sitting here right now if we were top 4? How much better?
Yeah. Look, I guess the interesting thing, and look, I will have to probably let you go in a second, Josh, just because I've got people waiting. But look, I think the interesting thing is top 4 is obviously a new thing in the last decade, which everyone talks about as, oh my God, top 4, because obviously it gets you Champions League. I don't get as excited about top 4 as other people, because for years and years and years, I've seen Spurs get in top 4 and then not actually act upon it. Yeah. And that's always been my stance. And I think when I say once bitten, I always say once bitten, 300 times as shy, because finishing 4th in itself, okay, it was never a big deal. It was okay. You're 4th, 3 teams are better. Finishing 4th is good for the club because we get Champions League. I get it, but it's been very good for the club financially, not for the club as the fans. Like never as a fan. And I'll ask everyone in the chat. You can tell me as well.
Comment down below, lads. Comment down below.
When have we ever qualified for the Champions League and gone out and bought a proper good player that you go, that's why we got in the Champions League?
you could say Perisic, he's a Champions League player. He is a Champions League player, but he didn't have that much of a lasting effect of a player that we needed. That's really my only one I could say.
Yeah, I mean, look, I get it. I think for me, Perisic, really good footballer, but it was just at the age. You know, I'm talking about, when do we get to the Champions League and say, do you know what? We're going to go out this window and we're going to buy 3 or 4 really good footballers, not 18-year-olds, not 33. We're going to go and buy 3 or 4 Champions League ready footballers, and we go, you know what? We're going to make a fist of the league and the Champions League. We just don't tend to do it. So listen, top 4's great. If we get top 4, fine. But we've been there before. I think a lot of people will praise it like it's something that we've never achieved before. We have. It's how we move forward. It's how we move forward.
We've been there. We've done that. It's 100%. Well, look, Savva, appreciate you letting me on. Yeah, you go
always,
get your other people on. Look, lads, go subscribe to Savva. Yeah, come on, guys, drop him a like.
Cheers, Josh. Listen, as always, man. Listen, Josh. I've changed numbers since we spoke, but email me. Go onto my YouTube, email 100%. Me, and we'll get WhatsApping again. All right, man.
We'll do. All right, Savva. Once again, thank you so much, and ladies and gentlemen,
always,
I'm on you, Spurs.
Cheers, Josh. Thanks, bro. Listen, I'm going to bring Ryan on. Then I've got Psycho Teacher. If anyone else would like to join that queue, the link is pinned. I've put it in there again. As I said, please have something to say. Please have your camera on. And listen, really interested to see what people's views are. Yeah, big up Josh. Josh has always been really, really good. Ryan, how you doing? You're back. What you got to say this week, Ryan?
Well, first of all, so, yeah, you really do flip-flop, don't you, mate? You really, you're an Arsenal fan 1 minute, you're a Tottenham fan the next.
Ryan, your reception is horrible.
Is it?
Yeah, you sound like a Dalek.
Is it?
You sound like a Dalek. Let me try and come back on. Let me get Psycho Teacher in. I'll get you back on in a minute. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, bro. So I'm gonna kick Ryan. I'm gonna bring on Psycho Teacher. I don't think he's been on before, so big up to him for coming on. There is the link. We're going until about 6:30, so we've got well over an hour. Big up to. I'm guessing your name isn't Psycho Teacher, so what shall I call you?
You can call me Marcos. My first name, sir.
Mark.
Marcos.
Marcos. Nice to meet you. Welcome to the show. I've seen you in the comments for many shows. So how are you, and what is it that you want to discuss?
Oh, feeling really good. You know, we beat City 4-0, and I've got a new ring light which says "Light up your beauty." So what can be better than this? You know what I mean? Jesus Christ! Yes. You know, I just bought it. It says "Light up your beauty." We beat City 4-0. Unbelievable, amazing weekend indeed in that turn. But at the same time, you cannot isolate the match itself, right?
Yep.
So before I continue, sir, I'd like to thank you and congratulate you a lot for your show, your stamina, your energy. You've got the time you spent in the name of the sake of this club, sir. No, thanks a lot. And I think I speak in the name of many other viewers who would like to thank you, your energy, you know, disposed for all the matters of Tottenham. Thanks a lot.
Well, thank you. I'm sure there are many people that would disagree with you, but thank you. It's very nice of you to say. Let me ask you then. You mentioned it there. We can isolate this game, and I think that's what a lot of fans do, but a lot of fans don't. So, for example, the person earlier who said, "Oh, have you changed your mind on Ange?" Again, it all depends on whether I want to isolate this game, or whether I want to say, oh, that's everything. Do you know what I mean? For this game, I thought he was superb. I thought he got everything right. For the whole thing, I'm still got my doubters. What do you make about the whole Tottenham situation, the tactics and Ange? And what do you make of everything?
Well, first of all, you know, a league is composed by 38 matches, indeed, you know, and a match is only a particle of this entire tissue, which composes an entire league. So each game, each, you know, point gain is really important. isolating the game, would be a mistake and blinding ourselves what's been going on for such a long time as well, indeed.
Yeah.
So that concerns me very much, actually. But what I'd like to debate you, sir, as we have many common bounds, indeed, is something tactical. You had mentioned before, you see Romero and Van de Ven not such as what most of our fan base see them as great players, especially Romero. I disagree a bit with you, sir, in that term.
Okay.
All due respect,
right.
of course. Is because when you watch Romero, as I do, I live in Brazil, I follow Argentina and Brazil quite closely, is they don't suffer the types of goals we do at Tottenham. So I think Ange's system is the one to be blamed for, this Romero's performances, actually. Not, indeed, Romero as a player, because he's so consistent and so solid as a defender playing for Argentina, for instance.
Yeah, look, the Romero conversation is always a very interesting one. And again, it's a view that I've had for a number of years now. So this isn't like some people now I'm seeing and say, oh, Romero, oh, is he that good? For me, for 3 years, what I've said about Romero hasn't changed. I like him. I think he's a good centre-back. I just don't put him on that pedestal that a lot of other people do. And for me,
don't you think there's a lack of, I don't know if I can say this word in Portuguese, is okay, I don't know if it's in English he is, but I don't think he is quite excited to keep playing for Tottenham, that system, you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, yeah, look, there's definitely that aspect.
Deep down, he knows he might not win a trophy with Tottenham, and he can win trophies with Argentina. You know what I mean?
Look, absolutely. And the thing is, I think more than ever, when we look at footballers now, we have to look at all of the aspects. It's all well and good that we just turn around and go, oh, he's brilliant or he's rubbish. But for me, there's a lot to Romero. And Romero's played under a few managers now where whenever he's not in a good moment, we get a lot of excuses. And normally it is, oh, but it's the manager. So so when he wasn't playing that well at first, and it's been up and down. It's been up and down. When he wasn't playing well at first, it was, oh, well, he's playing with Dyer and he's playing with Davis. But the year before where he was playing well, he was playing with Dyer and playing with Davis. Now it's, well, it's the manager. And for me, I just think if you are that good, if you are as good as fans make out, I think there should be less excuses every time. And for me, he doesn't stand out for me. That's only my opinion.
Perhaps the match on Saturday proves the contrary, because you could see Davis, which I feel quite sad when I mention his name. I think he represents the lack of silverware. Anyway, Davis played really well. It's not because Davis is a really good player. Actually, the system on Saturday was quite more like Conte's or Pochettino's idea of playing, not Ange's ball, which is crazy. That's crazy, thing. Anyway, when you see Davis and Dragusin playing well, which they hadn't played so well before, I think it is the system, sir, which has been disturbing Romero's performances mostly, in this case particularly.
Yeah, look, absolutely. Look, I've got no doubt that if Romero, God, have I gone very dark? Sorry, I feel like I've just gone very dark. Apologies. I don't know why.
I'm too bright, because light up your beauty.
I'm just going to say, I feel like a light bulb has popped, but all of my lights are on. Anyway, sorry. Look, I think that the interesting thing with Romero is, would I like to see him in a system that was more Saturday than normal? Yes, absolutely. I do. I also think with Romero, though, he does like to go on those wanders. I think he likes to come out of defense, go into that midfield area and kick people a little bit too much.
That's a lack of a really consistent number 6 to carry the ball out from the defense system, you know what I mean? So he got that lack, you got everyone forward, crazy.
I completely agree with you. Look, I completely agree with you. Look, as I said, I don't dislike Romero. I think the thing is that a lot of people have had a problem with me for the last 3 years because I don't wax lyrical about him like everyone else does. For me, I think if you're a top defender, more often than not, you play well. We can talk about tactics, we can talk about systems and partners. I think more often than not, you play well. And I'm gonna talk about another defender here that has played for Spurs that didn't always have really good defensive partners or good managers and good systems, but always looked brilliant. And that was Ledley King, right? So when we look at Ledley King played with worse players at times. Not always. He played with some good players like Woodgate and Dawson. But there were times where he played with poor players, no defensive midfielders in front, poor tactics. He played in good tactics. And yes, he's the next level up from Romero. But for me, the excuses weren't there for King because he was that good. When I watch Romero...
He didn't face that surreal system of kamikaze, attacking way. You know what I mean?
Sure.
When playing play it for Tottenham, I started to watch Tottenham on daily basis from 2003, by the way, and on TV, it was another system, all the kinds of systems, much more protected by number 6 and so on.
No, look, I agree with you. But the difference is, if Ledley King played in this system now, you would still see that Ledley King is superior. Like because that's a top centre back. Do you know what I mean? Like if Rio Ferdinand played in, I know I'm naming top players. If Rio Ferdinand played in this system,
you must name top players. Exactly. Must be the parameter.
And there's my point. So when people are telling me Romero's class, I don't think he is. I think he's a good player. But for me, I think the word I would use for him, I'll try and use a different word than inconsistent. Otherwise, I'll be saying that too much. I think for me, he's erratic. I think there's a lot of goals that, even not in the system, when a lot of the balls that come into our box, I don't think he takes charge. I don't feel like he's the defensive leader. He should be pulling that defense here, going, "Oi, you, get in here. I'm going to head everything clear." I just feel like...
way sometimes. He's a bit arrogant in a negative way. Sometimes he thinks he's too much, more than he really is.
Absolutely. And I think the thing is, he's living in an era now where I don't think there's many great centre-backs. Exactly. When I was growing up, even up until sort of 5-10 years ago, there were brilliant centre-backs everywhere. Especially now, the fact that we're talking about him with Real Madrid and clubs like that, I look at it and go, there is a shortage of top quality centre-backs all over the world. But that's a different point. That's a different point. So I don't hate him. For me, I don't think he's good enough that you turn around and go, right, straight back in the team. For me, I think he's had a poor year, and I think he should fight to get back into the team. That's just my opinion.
Absolutely, yes. Something else you said, if you had Pochettino nowadays with the same players, Pochettino would have 3 defenders. I disagree with you, sir, with my due respect once again. It's because indeed I think Pochettino would play with 2 defenders and 4 in the midfield, and using Madison and Kulu as kind of Eriksen and Dele Alli style, and 2 forwards.
Yeah, look, I think whenever we're talking about players and managers and systems, it's always very difficult because some systems suit some players, some don't suit the others. As I said, though, for me, I think top players stand out. I think really good players stand out. Like, if we're going to look at some of the great players we've had in the last 10, 15, 20 years, I don't think it matters what system you throw them into, they're going to be brilliant, And for me, I don't think we have any players at that level at the moment. I think at the moment, we've got a lot of players that look very good when it's all nice for them. I think when the going gets tough and we talk about systems, that don't suit them, I do think they struggle a little. And again, that's the difference between being there as a player and there. You know what I mean? I think that's, again, only my opinion. Only my opinion.
As we don't have many good forwards, indeed, we have very bad forwards, really bad forwards for the ninth richest club in the world. The forwards we have are quite embarrassing indeed, though. And having more midfields, especially Madison, which is our most creative player, we cannot expect what he will do in the fouling. He's not a robotic player indeed. So that's amazing. If you have Kulu and Madison in midfield, the two more midfielders to protect them, to give them freedom to create what they can. Well, as long as, unfortunately, we don't have many good forwards, so having two will be a better idea to suit our current reality, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, I think the interesting point here is, we say this a lot, and I agree with you. We always say that we don't have good forwards, but we've scored loads of goals. And it's quite weird, isn't it? Like you would look at that forward line and you wouldn't think we'd be the top scorers in the league. But I agree with your second point. I think that if you look down the history of football, all of the big clubs, when they've got attack.
Football must be respected always, exactly. Not only the club we love, exactly.
Absolutely. But, look down the football for the history of years. All the big clubs, all the successful clubs, they've had attacking players, but they've always had that solidity behind them.
Yes.
That allows them to go and do what they do. You look at Chelsea with the likes of Lampard going forward, Robben, Duff, all of those. They had the Essians, the Mikkels, the Makelele's. They had that solidity that says, you know what, go and do what you do. We've got this. Spurs, I don't know if we got that when we play a bit more gung-ho. When we played like we did Saturday, I think that was great. You got the two holders and you say, right, go on, Maddison, Kulu, Son, Solanke, go and do what you do. So it's a fine line. It's a fine line, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Well, the best is to find the best way. Always.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But listen, I'm gonna let you go, my man. And listen, thank you so much for coming on. I love seeing new faces.
Immense pleasure, sir, to have me on. Thanks a lot. Thank you very much. Me an immense pleasure to meet you. I'd just like to say hello to a couple of people, if you don't mind, please.
Go for it, man.
Of Tottenham Away, a hello to him. Dan of the Hotspur Hood, and Brian the diplomat, of Tottenham on tour. Thanks a lot, sir.
Brian Daigle. Yeah, Brian Daigle.
He's the diplomat. He's able to be all around all the YouTube channels in peace and discuss Tottenham with no drama. He's amazing. The guy's amazing.
Yeah, I love Brian. And one day I'm going to fly to Canada and take those splinters out of his bum from when he sits on the fence. So, listen, just kidding. I love Brian. Listen, thank you very much. It's been great having you on, and you're always welcome. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Cheers.
Cheers, buddy. Thanks, Marcus. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Right, I'm going to bring on Ryan. The link is in the chat. We've got no one after Ryan at the moment. I'll be honest, I was expecting a barrage of people that were wanting to have a go at me after me predicting Man City to beat Spurs. Apparently the worst prediction that any football fan has ever made. You devil, Savva. You're the devil. You're the devil thinking Man City will win. So I'll bring Ryan on. Listen, let's get some people in. Look, there is the guest. There is the guest. There is the link. Smash that button. Come on, have a chat. And who knows where the conversation will take us. Big up, Ryan.
Right, is this better for starters, yeah?
This is better. I can actually hear you.
Right, just before we start, Savva, you flip-flop all the time, don't you, mate? Yeah, of course you do. 1 minute you're a Tottenham fan, then you're an Arsenal fan, then you want Angie, then you want Anja. Of course, mate. You really flip-flop all the time, don't you?
You forgot that I'm actually a Man City fan, apparently. So City, Arsenal, Spurs. I just pick which one I want. Oh
yeah, of course you do. Yeah. No, seriously though, Sav. On a serious note, mate. the game over the weekend, blimey, didn't expect that one. Really didn't expect that. Not a million years did I ever think we were ever going to do something like that. That was just, I mean, look, kudos to Ange. Like, he played that superbly.
He did. Yeah, look. I've said it since Saturday. I said it during my watch along. And I thought we were excellent. I thought we got everything right. Look, the first 10, 15 minutes, you would expect Man City to come out on fire. Should they have scored? Probably, but they didn't. They didn't. Vicario made a couple of big saves. And from the moment we got the goal, which the goal was against the run of play, but the moment we got the goal, the momentum switched. And then we got the second one so soon after. And
do you know who else I thought actually had a good game? And it's weird to say this, but I actually thought Ben Davies actually had a good game.
I thought he was excellent. I thought Ben Davies, and listen, I'm going to group them together. I thought Ben Davies and Dragoshin were excellent. I thought they were absolutely superb. And whether people rate Davies, look, I think Davies has been here probably 3 or 4 years too many. But that doesn't mean I can't isolate this game and say what a good performance. I think what he does, and someone mentioned this yesterday, Ryan, what Ben Davies has got is calmness. And that comes with experience. I thought he was very calm. I thought he defended well. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and say it was a complete masterclass of a defensive performance because City had a lot of chances. Not clear cut, not 15 on target, but they had enough opportunity. But you know what? We put them off. The last-ditch tackles. We celebrated tackles like they were goals. We defended set pieces brilliantly. We couldn't have asked for
And do you know what else is really weird as well, Savva? Right? Haaland was off target more times than I've seen him off target any other time as well. And that is a kind of a surprise. So people were saying that, and I've heard this since we've smashed Man City, because that's what it was. It was just an absolute smashing. Man City are a one-man team with Rodri being out. That's what I've been hearing.
Yeah, look. Do you know what? I think sometimes we look for too much, right? For me, I just think we say, what a great win. Look, Man City, we could say, look, Man City had, who did they have out? Man City had out Rodri. De Bruyne and Kovacic, right, in midfield.
No, De Bruyne played.
De Bruyne played about 10 minutes at the end. He said, De Bruyne said today in an interview, he said, I'm not fit. I shouldn't be playing. He said it. But for me, I don't think we take anything away from how we set up. We set up brilliantly. Man City had more than enough talent on that pitch. We set up brilliantly. We nullified them. And I thought we were excellent to a man. I do think we go too deep sometimes, but I just thought, look, Ange Postecoglou, brilliant management. I thought the players executed it brilliantly. And again, this is my frustration. This is my frustration as a Spurs fan. I see us do that. Then I see us against the likes of Ipswich and Palace. And you're like, we say chalk and cheese, but it's so different. It's so different that you're going, is this the
It's like day and night, really. It's like day and night, really, when you think about it, Sav, because, right, I wouldn't be, and this is the thing that really annoys me, right? If only we was consistent. I know you love that word, consistent. And if we was consistent like that every week, playing exactly how we played yesterday, Saturday, I wouldn't be having these thoughts whether Ange in or Ange out or whatever, right? I would be thinking like, okay, we're not going to win every game, but if we play like that every week and to a consistent level, I would be happy.
Yeah, look, I think that, I'm not even saying every performance needs to be like that. Those performances for me are once in a blue moon. And that's not just Spurs. I think that's every club. I can't see that many of our performances are going to match what we did on Saturday. But for me, what I do want to see is that we take the things we did in that game and apply it to when we're playing teams that aren't Man City or Villa. You know, at the moment, we seem to have flipped. We seem to have gone from a team that can only beat the lesser teams. And in the space of 2 months, we flipped to a team that now we're beating better teams, but really struggling to break down the weaker teams. And again, it's just finding that middle ground, that balance. What I don't think every day in Spurs YouTube land needs to be an Ange in, Ange out conversation. I mean, I listen, when I said Ange out in that video, I did a famous video for me where I said, I don't want him Ange out. Oh my gosh. Now it's all anyone can throw at me. Now it's sort of like we can't have any conversation about anything without people going, are you Ange out? And it's like, oh my gosh. Like, listen, I've said all along, for me, if this man starts showing consistency, I will turn around and go, I was wrong. Ange has done a brilliant job. At the moment, we're still in the middle of the inconsistency, but the magnitude of that win has made people think that we're not. 2 weeks before, we lost to Ipswich, who have only won 1 game in 12, right? Us. So for me, again, baby steps. Go and beat Bournemouth. Go and beat Fulham. Go and beat Bournemouth.
Sam, you know what could really change the whole thing around now, though, right? Over this Christmas period, right? I'm not including Europa League games because we should just run through Roma and Rangers. But I mean, like Fenerbahce could be a tricky task. But I mean, I'm not including the Europa League games. I'm just including the league games. I think if we could actually be consistent like that, as we was on Saturday, all the way through the December period, I could start thinking, okay, well, here we go, right? There's some consistency here. Could we have literally that momentum going past Christmas? You just don't know at this point. But all the way through the December period, if we kept this momentum going and being consistent in the right way, I think we could do something this season.
Look, I'm good. Listen, I'm remaining with what I've said all along. Listen, momentum is everything. Consistency is everything. If any team gets momentum, if any team gets consistency, they can do something. The problem is at Spurs, we lose and we're awful. We win, we're the best. I want to find that happy ground as a football fan where the emotions aren't here or there. And you're going to have ups and downs, but not ups and downs every other week. That's the problem at the moment. So for me, go and beat Fulham, then beat Bournemouth. Now all of a sudden you're going, hang on, we've won 3 in a row. We're now slow. That's for Spurs to do. It can't be battered City. Look how great we are. Oh, we've lost to Fulham. It's got to be some momentum building. And the last thing I'll say is, I think everyone's so much, I told you so, this, that, the other. Nothing's been told. No one's been told so. At the moment, we're still in the same pattern. Win, lose, win, lose, win, lose, win, lose.
Yeah.
When that changes, so does my opinion. It's that simple. And I think...
and the thing is as well, Sav, yeah, right? I'm looking at it at the moment, as I have every time we've won a game, what can the next game give us? What are we going to do in the next game? I'm one of these at the moment because it's so with the team and the form, like everyone likes to keep using, it's flippy floppy. And I take it as whatever we do in the next game, as long as we are consistent in what we're doing, I'm happy.
Mate, it's what I've said all along. As I said, when we get there, I'm gonna let you go, Ryan, because Mark's waiting. But listen, as I said, when we get to that consistent point, I'll turn around and go, you know what? First of all, thank you, Ange, for proving me wrong. I just get a little bit fed up with hearing this. You've got an agenda. My agenda is I want Spurs to be better. That's the only agenda I've had for decades of supporting this football club. But I feel like lots of people now are trying to make infighting in the fan base to have we're like politics in this fan base. Everyone is so far this way or that way. Why can't we live in that middle ground where some people should be able to admit, hang on, we're not as great as we think, but there's green shoots, and other people should be able to say, hang on, we're not as bad as we thought, but there's green shoots. But we can't. Yeah. Everyone is so busy defending their honor. I'm happy for my honor to be trashed upon. I'm happy to be wrong. I can't say it. I say it every week, Ryan, to you, to others. I want to be sitting here in January and going, I can't, but what a great run. Wow. Look at the work this manager's doing. At the moment, I'm not, because Villa, yes. Palace, no. Right? City, yes. Ipswich, no. Like it, you know. But look, Ryan, thank you so much for coming on, buddy. I'll speak to you next week. Much love and enjoy the Spurs games coming up.
Yeah, you too, mate.
All right.
Yeah.
You take care.
See ya. Bye.
See you, man. Right, listen, we've got 35 minutes or so, 40 minutes to go. I'm going to bring on Mark. But listen, there is room for more people. Guys and girls, I see a lot of people. They want to talk a lot. This is the opportunity to come on. There is the link. There is the link. There is the link indeed. Just quickly, not many adverts today. Do you know what? I think YouTube's been moving mad. Like, loads of people keep saying to me, you know, they're getting adverts every 6 minutes. Some people are saying they're not getting a lot. I don't set my adverts to every 6 minutes because I think that takes the piss out of the viewer. So YouTube doing its thing. Just so, Billy, just so you know, there is no other manager we can get that can beat City like that. Yeah, but success isn't based upon just beating Manchester City, Billy. Yeah, success is based upon what do we do against the Ipswiches? What do we do against those teams where we should be winning and being high up the table? I do feel like we've gone backwards with football fan, the way it works. But Mark, how you doing, mate? You good?
I'm good, mate. I just use a slogan: calm down, everybody. It's one game. Calm down.
Yeah, listen, I get it, right? I think celebrate the occasion, great win. I do think people take one win, though, and want to make a bigger deal out of a bigger situation than it is. I think there's a difference between able to celebrate an occasion versus the bigger picture.
Oh, absolutely. I think we played them at the perfect time. I discussed with you online. I think, you know, we talked about their midfield, very small technical players, not very big physical, strong players in their midfield at the moment. I mean, everything fell right into place, to be honest. But it might not fall into place every game, and that's the problem.
Yeah, of course. And do you know what? Like I just said to Ryan, I'm not expecting every time we take a field, Mark, that we're going to destroy somebody 4-0. But it's for me, I'm not going to keep saying the consistency word, but for me, it's got to be that when we go out there, we're not all going, which Spurs have we got today? And I said on my show earlier, Mark, but I don't know if you saw it, that my mates always message me and go, Spurs in the ACCA today, you're at home too. And I'm like, oh, I wouldn't. I don't know what Spurs you're going to get. And that's the problem, isn't it?
100% true. 100%. I said before on stream, I want to see this Spurs side beat an old Wimbledon side, beat Atletico Madrid type, you know, big, strong players who are going to be nasty, who are going to leave it in. You know, no disrespect to Man City, they're a good footballing side, but they're not these type of sides. And I think we've struggled against the physical side of it for me.
Yeah, look, listen, I think the interesting thing, let's look at our losses this season. Let's look at the games we've not managed to win. Right? Leicester City had no interest in coming out and having a football game against us. They are, hence why their manager's now gone, but you know, they are sitting, let's do what we do. Arsenal to a degree. Well, Arsenal came to the game realizing, you know what? We don't need to go toe-to-toe here. If we put men behind the ball, Spurs won't break us down. Newcastle, Newcastle were very much men behind the ball for most of the game. They weren't free-flowing, didn't want to really attack. They wanted to counter-attack. Ipswich Town counter-attacked. They had 10 men behind the ball, 3 big centre-halves, wing-backs, 4 midfielders sitting in. Right? Palace, they're a team that they want to counter-attack as well. 3 centre-halves, 2 wing-backs, midfielders sitting in. There's a pattern, isn't there?
Yeah.
When we play those physical teams that want to defend, we don't win. We don't.
Oh, yeah.
Unfortunately, we don't.
Absolutely. 100% right. And also I'd like to say is, though, would it be a bigger shock us beating Man City 4-0 or beating Chelsea 4-0?
I mean, yeah, Chelsea 4-0 would be the biggest shock. Because Man City will always give you chances. I'm not saying Chelsea don't, but look, for me, again, it's Bournemouth away. Games like that. They're the games where you know it's going to be tight, it's going to be compact, a smaller pitch. You know that they're not going to go gung-ho. We know we're going to have most of the ball against Bournemouth. It's about, can we break them down? I'm not saying we can't, but these are the barriers you've got to get over for me. Bournemouth, Fulham, Southampton.
Fulham, we lost 3-0.
Fulham, yep.
Last year we lost 3-0. I mean, I wouldn't even be surprised if we lost to Roma, because it'd be the Spursy thing to do.
I find it difficult to predict the Europa League games purely because of we don't know what 11's going to play. But look, for me, Roma are in awful form. They've just got another new manager. Something's not right at that club. I fully expect to beat them. And you know what, Mark? I fully expect to beat Fulham as well. I do.
Don't say it.
No, but listen, we can't have everyone out here saying how wonderful we are and how great Kulu is and this player's amazing and then say, oh, we're not sure about Fulham. That should be a game at home. We should be going a nice professional performance, 3 points, move on to the next one.
Yeah.
That's only my opinion. And that's where we've been lacking.
Well, to be honest, you look at the next few games, the only game should be tough would be the Chelsea game on paper, you would have thought. But we know Spurs, so, no game's easy, is it?
Mm. Yeah, no, it's absolutely not. I mean, listen, Spurs King QA has said this, calm down. It's one game thing has to apply when we lose. Yet Spurs King, I get your point, but I think what I've said isn't a meltdown after Ipswich, is it? I think what I've said, and I know you said to some people, but I think I've been very consistent for the last year with what I've said. It's not about, oh my God, we lost today, we're awful. This is the pattern we're in. Can we break the pattern? Doing the same thing over and over again doesn't get you different results. So can we break the pattern and do something different?
And also that comment, it was Ipswich we lost to. It was Palace we lost to. It wasn't necessarily Man City we've just lost to. That comment about it also applies to a loss. Ipswich ain't won a game all season. Palace hadn't won a game all season.
Right.
And we were outplayed both of them games. It wasn't a lucky game where we hit the crossbar 3 times, had 25 shots. We hardly had a shot at both. Well, Palace, I don't even 3 shots in the match. Same with Ipswich. Completely outplayed.
Yeah. Again, and again, look, Phil Coy's, I love you to bits, man. But again, it's this is what we do. We get so overconfident that we say things like Spurs will win 5 on the bounce. It's like, what? Whoa, hang on. Hang on. We've not won 2 on the bounce for 2 months. Can we get to 2 or 3 before we start confirming that we're going to win 5 on the, this is the problem that I don't think Spurs fans learn. Because if we don't, there'll be another excuse at the weekend. If we do beat Fulham, I'll start saying, okay, right, there's 2. That's City. That's Fulham. Now go and do, I think, is it Bournemouth after that? Hang on. Yeah, now go and do Bournemouth. Suddenly, I'm going, okay, Spurs have just taken 9 points from 9. Decent. Kick on. But I can't ever sit there and go, we will definitely win 5 on the back. It's a bit much.
It's too early yet. Too early.
Too early to say it.
Yeah, far too early. I mean, it was great to get. I mean, you and I would both love more clean sheets as well to start to start thinking things are changing as well.
Absolutely. I think, listen, as I said, I think in 2024, we've got to this point now where there are so many fans that live game by game, right? There are so many that live game by game, and that's fine. Mark, I'm not here to tell you or any other football fan how you support your club. Go knock yourselves out. I'm not here to tell anyone, you love Ange, knock yourself out. You support Ange. I'm here to tell my truth, right? And my truth is, and I think other fans, some fans do have this as well. My truth is that what I've seen over the last year hasn't been good enough. Yeah. There's been great moments, there's been shit moments, and there's been a lot of average in there as well. When you even that all out, it's been okay. It's been okay. It's been meh. Yeah. Now, for the next 12 months, can we turn around and see suddenly all those defeats, some of them we're turning into wins. Some of them are turning into draws. Now, all of a sudden in a calendar year, you've only lost 10 games rather than 17. That's what I want to see. Are we going to start seeing more clean sheets? We've got so many fans that unfortunately see one brilliant win and think everything's changed. For me, great win in isolation. Let's kick on, get the clean sheets, get the wins, stop the defeats. Then we can all turn around and go, what a club we are. But I've seen, Mark, I'll ask you a question. And a last question I'll ask you before I bring on Anthony. Yeah. How many times we've seen this down the years, though? I'm not talking about a 4-0 City. How many times we've seen a win where no one gave us a chance and we all go, oh my God, look how brilliant. I've seen it with Jose, Conte, Poch, Nuno, Yol, Redknapp. And we're still sitting here 17 years later saying the same thing with yet another manager. That's why I, Mark, don't get carried away. And I think I've got good cause not to get carried away.
Well, we were discussing in the chat the other day, 3-0 up against United half time, 2001. This is it. Lost 5-3. 3-0 up against City in the Cup. Man down. We lost 4-3. We're old enough to. We've seen this before, mate. We've seen this before. And at the moment, for me personally, I haven't seen enough to change my opinion on Ange and the side.
Look, I agree with you. Green shoots. That's all. Green shoots. That's what I saw Saturday. Saw some green shoots that make me go, okay, all right, all right, keep doing it. That's all it is for me. But
Baby
I know
steps.
some people want to lose their minds. By the way, I've never been one of those football fans, Mark, that loses their mind. Like, I know a lot of people get annoyed with me on watch-alongs. I think they want me to fall off my chair, run around my room. I'm not really a shouter and a screamer when we score or concede, and I don't think people like that. So it is what it is. Like, it's mad. Again, look, see what you get. Look, the away problems are gone now. I mean, it's like this is what we're dealing with, Mark.
Just enjoy it. Just enjoy the one game. That's it.
Exactly.
You know, calm.
Exactly. Ed, absolutely. Give him time, mate. Ed, listen, I'm going to say one thing to everyone who comes on and says things to me about give him time, give him the end of the season. It's not my decision, Ed.
No.
I'm just a football fan. I've said all along, haven't I, Mark?
Yeah,
this
absolutely.
manager's not going anywhere.
No.
I've never said I think the manager's getting sacked. I've said I've got my doubts about him massively because he's very inconsistent, and I still feel that way. So I think everyone needs to just relax a tiny little bit. And when he goes on to say who's been consistent, Ed, mine's not about being consistent this year. This season, it's been the last year has been very inconsistent. Liverpool have lost one game. Yeah, let's use the team who are 8 points clear as the benchmark. Yeah, it's absolutely mad. Mark, I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much, buddy. I always appreciate you coming on.
Thanks, Savva. Thank you, mate.
Always, man. Listen, enjoy your evening, and I'll speak to you soon.
Cheers, Savva.
Take care, buddy. Bye-bye.
Right.
I'm going to bring on Anthony, then I'm going to bring on Eugene. We will have a hard stop tonight at 6:30 tonight, as I am going out for dinner. So apologies for this show being a little bit earlier than usual. Phil, yeah, but you said exactly the same thing to me, Phil, after Villa. You said the exact same thing after Villa, and then look what happened, right? You said it after the City Cup win, then look what happened. So I feel like we've got to stop shooting from the hip and actually let these things happen before we start making things up. Big up, Anthony. How we doing, bro? You good?
Yeah, Savva. I'm good. I just it's funny when I hear you talking, I really feel sorry for you, because I just know the crap that you have to deal with, and just it absolutely boggles my mind. One piece of advice I'm going to give you: don't use the term my truth, because that kind of relativist bullshit is exactly the kind of pussified language that so many people use today, young people use today, in terms of like, oh, this is my truth and my truth. And I'm joking in terms of you, dude. I don't mean that against you at all. I just mean, like,
I know what you mean.
I'm tongue in cheek saying that that's like using their terms, basically. There's nothing against you. I want to talk about you and the war that you fight. What I want to say first off is you constantly come in, start your shows and mention the fact that you get death threats against your, talking about your wife as a whore, talking about what a repellent person you are, that you rape children, and that you should have 15 murder convictions. You've just somehow been let off, and all, you're a rapist and all this kind of stuff. What I would say about that is that what you're discussing is symptomatic of what's going on in society at large, which is that it's not 1997. You're not with your mates down by the pub. You're discussing Spurs. You're talking about it with a group of people that are younger. They have a different mindset. Their attention span isn't long. They don't have the ability. I'm generalizing here. There are young people that are wonderful and have long attention spans. I think Michael from Poland is 23 or whatever the hell he is. So please understand, these are generalizations. But in general, I'm a teacher, so I definitely can see it. Even I see it every day. That you're not going to get that same kind of back and forth, because what you're dealing with is people that act like babies, as opposed to adults. They don't have the lived experience. They don't have the time in, basically, to be able to give their opinions with any kind of nuance. And if I were you, I've tried to tell you this, and a lot of people have tried to tell you this. I would really stop focusing as much as you can, Savva, to the point that you can, on what other people say. I do understand getting a death threat or someone calling your wife a whore is pretty tough to ignore. So I'm not in your shoes, and I'm not putting anything on you. I'm simply saying, if you can find that place inside of yourself to literally just ignore, just almost as if those people exist, because they're not worth engaging with.
No, I know. It's definitely something I've worked on, and definitely something I need to ignore. It's just, I tell you what, do you know what? Listen, I'll say this, and then we'll move on to talking about football. I think what doesn't help is, I think that, YouTube is tough, by the way. Like, I think a lot of people don't understand how tough mentally this is. And I think what doesn't help is when, viewers doing it is one thing, but I think when fellow YouTubers start abusing and making videos about you and stuff, I think you're pandering to the audience. You're telling everybody that it's okay, that's what we do. And I'm a big believer in, whether I agree with a YouTuber or not, because YouTubers aren't special. We're just football fans, right? We're not special in any way, shape, or form. We just put our face to a camera. I'm a big believer that whether or not I hate that person's opinion over there or love that person's opinion over there, I'm a firm believer, Anthony, that I will back that person if anyone comes into my chat and says, they're this, they're that, I hate them. It's like, whoa. They're just putting out their content. When I don't get that same energy back, and it's just a few people, that's where I get really disappointed in the fact that you know how difficult this world is, not this world of YouTube is. You know what it's like to receive comments. When you are perpetuating that yourself, I just feel like it's disappointing. But look, let's move on. I agree with you. Thank you for the advice. I do agree with you. Let's talk football. So are Spurs winning the league now because we beat Man City?
I actually went out the other night and got myself Tottenham Hotspur 2024-2025 Champions jacket. I spent $5,000 on it. I had it sequined. It actually it's diamond encrusted, and I'm not wearing it yet, but I think I'm gonna pull it out after we win the next 5 on the trot, which I definitely think we're gonna do. I think Davies and Dragic are the answer. I don't think it was any kind of one-off freak game where we faced a team that was literally perfect for us to beat. And I think this is indicative of the new Spurs. I've said this on 5 other winning occasions, but I think this time, on the 6th time this season, I'm definitely right. I literally, Savva, the idea of winning anything under this manager is just a complete fool's errand. Just look at our back two. It takes an old man. What is Davies is like 61, I think, and his son Radu Dragic to be able to play together, that father and son team, to be able to basically force the coach into not playing a line whereby he has every fullback and halfback on the edge of the 18-yard box. I think him being forced into that change, it made him, you can't do anything. Davies can't track back. So obviously it's going to make us play a different kind of football. And then, whoa, lo and behold, my God, goodness me, who could have seen that coming? When you don't have your fullbacks playing suicidally in the final third of the opponent's half, then, oh, wow, we actually set up as a defense and we can defend. There were so many things about that City game that I loved, but so many things that I also hated, because as my friend, my Arsenal mate put it, he sent me a picture of something on Spurs web that said something like "mate," and it had our boy with his thumbs up. It just basically confirms everything that's the worst part about our club. Is this reactionary? We've beaten Man City 4-0, as if that proves anything. I actually think that beating Burnley, or I guess Burnley's not in the league, sorry, beating whatever Bournemouth or Southampton 4-0 away would have been a much more impressive victory. I don't take anything away from winning at the Etihad. I just think that they're the perfect. They came at us. They were having a shit day. They missed their chances. We took ours. We played brilliantly, and they played into our hands. They're not the opponent that I'm worried about. I'm not scared about the Cities. Even when Arsenal came to our gaff, what did they do? They didn't play like Arsenal. They played like prime Stoke under Tony Pulis. They set up behind the ball to frustrate us, and they got a goal on a header. And we wouldn't have scored if we would have played that game for 10 hours. And that's Arsenal. That's like a dream team Arsenal with their free-flowing offense. Their manager knew, okay, we're not going to come at them because that's what they want. They're going to hit us on the, they'll just be waiting and, like a lion seeing a wounded gazelle. So we're not going to do that. We're going to be smart about it. And Pep wasn't smart about it, because Pep figured, I have the players to be able to go at Spurs hard and win, because I have better players man for man, which they do. We had Dragic and Davies and defense, for God's sake. So the point is Pep did what he should have done. And on this day, 1 out of 100 times it worked in our favor. And we were able to not only win, but to destroy them. And I liked the win. I was happy. But what I don't like is the fact that it cements to me this manager who, first of all, I thought he was a transient manager. I thought that according to everything I've heard, he's only at a place for 2 years or most 3. So even if I fell in love with the guy from that game and thought he was the greatest thing in the world, he's meant to be leaving at the end of the season, right? Or maybe he'll give us 1 more season. But he himself said, I only stay at places for 2 to 3 years. So what does that mean if it has been turned around? And this is the new Ange era. It's going to be a pretty short-lived era. And then the second thing is Why does he play better when we have a defense that's literally halved, and we have an elderly guy, a pensioner, and this young buck playing as our halfbacks? I don't understand why people aren't seeing that's management that he's forced into, as opposed to management that he didn't come up with that. It's not like he had Van de Ven and Romero and said, you know what, I'm not going to play them for this game. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually, and he didn't do that. His hand was forced, and he played the hand he was dealt.
Look, let me come back on that for a couple of seconds, and then I've got 2 more guests to get through before I finish the show in 10 minutes. Look, I think the difficulty is, look, first of all, I do think you've taken a little bit away from how good Tottenham were. I mean, I do think we were absolutely excellent. Yes, Man City, games change on goals. If Erling Haaland puts away that chance in the first 5 minutes, it's a different game. But I mean, you could say that for every football team in the league. I do agree with you. For me, I want to know, if Van de Ven and Romero had been fit, would it have been the same outcome? Would we have seen the same defensive solidity? Would he have sat back? Would he have probably gone a bit more forward of a whole line? These are questions we don't know the answer to, right? Let's be brutally honest. We don't know the answer to any of these questions.
I know the answer to it. He would have played them as he always plays them, and we would have gotten our ass kicked 3-1.
Well, sure, but my point is, we'll see moving forward. The big thing is going to be moving forward now. We've seen, and for me, all these people that are saying, oh, that was Ange ball, and for me, this was the complete opposite to what we normally see, and I thought we were excellent. I'm not taking that away from Ange. I think that's a benefit. I think that's props to Ange, that if he did realise this is what we need to do to beat a team like City, then that's brilliant. That's what you want from your manager. You want managers that can adapt and change. What we're going to see in the next 3 or 4 games, especially as Romero and Van de Ven come back, do we just go straight back to a high line with a frenetic way of playing and allow gaps in behind us? Or do we realise, hang on, we stumbled upon something here. When you got 2 players in front of the back 4, we're more solid. When you got fullbacks who aren't gung-ho, we're more solid. We're going to see. We're going to see in the next 3 or 4 games, Anthony. But we've got to enjoy that win. Absolutely. But not to the point where we're going to get mocked for enjoying it so much that people are talking about making DVDs because, we're talking about that rather than trophies. But I don't disagree with a lot of what you say. Let's see how long he's here for. You're right. He only does 2.5, 3 years. Let's see how long he stays for.
Savva, what was his most brilliant move yesterday, managerially?
For me, I think it was most definitely Kulusevski playing on the right instead of Johnson, because Kulu gets back to support and helps out Porro, but also playing the 2 central midfielders to allow Maddison to actually be a number 10 to get in positions to score goals. Yeah. That's it for me.
What terrifies me about this manager, you nailed it. You hit it out of the park. I didn't care about the Dragishin Davies partnership and the non-high line and the non-inverting the fucking fullbacks that he does. I literally every time I see that, my blood pressure rises. So what I absolutely do give him credit for, what I did love, was him putting like almost tormenting City a bit by putting Decky out on the right and having Maddison be able to play as surprise a 10, which is his position.
Agreed.
What he is. The fact that he had to overcome his own mistakes, which I'm seeing with this manager a lot, where he's doing things he's shooting himself in the foot and then learning how to bandage and treat the wound better, and how to shoot, how to miss the foot when he shoots the gun at it. In other words, he's doing a lot of things where they're self-imposed. Maddison is not a deep line playmaker. I don't know why he's been shunted on the halfway line and been like, and then people go, oh, he didn't have a good game. He barely affected the game. Yeah, because that's not what he's not a central midfielder. He's a slight little guy that's a 10. He's a magician inside the box with these little 1-2s or making late runs. That's what he he does. Why does it take until almost December to figure that one out? And there's another thing about Ange that I want to say that Maz has mentioned before that really gets me going, and that's this. I've already sworn once, so I'm not going to swear, but I'll say
I did notice. I do need to wrap it up soon as well, Anthony. I've got 2 guests to get through very quickly.
I'll be quick. It's the last thing I want to say. One of the reasons why I really don't like the manager, it's the only thing that I'll bring up, is not because I'm a hater. I wanted to love the guy, but the more that I saw him on the in the interviews, when he's not happy, he's a real Mick. And it's a really Savva, this is a really bad thing. Like, a manager is the conduit between the fans and the club. We're not going to be talking to Levy after every game. God knows we won't be talking to him after every decade. So what we're doing is Ange is the communicator. Ange is the guy that's telling us that, this is what I feel. This is what's going on inside the locker room. This is why I made this change. This is why I did this. He is so short and so curt and so sarcastic and demeaning with reporters. Wait, when he loses, when he wins, he's affable, funny, lights up the room. Everyone loves him. He's Big Ange. People are laughing at his jokes. Sure. But that's when it's easy to be fun. When you get a raise at work, you're the guy in the bar that's buying drinks for everyone. But when your boss calls you into the office and says you make one more mistake like that and you're out, you're not going to be the life of the party when you guys go out for drinks that evening type of thing. So, what I'm not seeing from Ange, and what really worries me, and it's the last thing I'll say. I know you got to go. I got to go too. I'm doing this in my lunch hour at work. I will say this. He is, Conte was famous for being, and Jose were famous for like doing us a favor, right? Like they never seemed to be Tottenham managers. They seemed to me to be guys that were like, people that were there they were mercenaries. That's the word I'm looking for. So Ange is looked at as a savior. I'm loving Big Ange instead. He's on T-shirts. He's on, banners and stuff like that. That guy doesn't seem to have any more connection to Spurs than Conte or Jose. He just does it in a different way. He doesn't make it as obvious as they did. They literally, almost every press conference, you could feel it. But with him, he never tries to connect to us but through the reporters, and he really treats them very shabbily. And that makes me extremely upset. So what I would say is this, I'll leave with this. The next time we lose, see how he is with reporters. And if he's the same way that he's been with reporters, then he's learned nothing. Because a manager, if you look at Jurgen Klopp after Liverpool losses, or you look at other famous managers, that when they go through hard times, they don't become acerbic to the beat reporters that are just trying to do their job and trying to get information. They don't act like they know any better. Jurgen Klopp wouldn't look at a Liverpool beat reporter and say stuff like, "I'm sorry, how many teams have you managed?" Whereas he always, Postecoglou always has this air of arrogance about him when we lose, and I hate it.
I get it. Look, it's just the way he is. Look, I wouldn't expect managers to be happy after we lost the game. I hear what you're saying. I think a lot is made of the way he is in the press. For me, I listen, if the man goes on to win things for us, great. I don't warm to him, but that's just me. I like somebody like a Harry Redknapp. I love that type of character.
Martin Jol.
Look, yeah, the head coach. I loved Martin Jol. But look, Anthony, I do need to let you go because I've got 2 guests and I'm going to have to squeeze them in for an extra 10.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Savva.
No worries, man. I'll speak to you again soon.
All right, brother. Take care.
Take care. See you, man. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Right, guys and girls, I will go for, I'm going to literally, can I get away with it? I'm going to literally go for 10 more minutes. Eugene's going to get 5 minutes. And then Tommy, thank you for your patience. Tommy in the background is going to get 5 minutes as well. And then I will have a hard stop in 10 minutes because I need to go for a curry. I'm hungry. Eugene, welcome back. How you doing, brother?
Good. I was hoping to get an hour, but 5 minutes. I'll do it 5 minutes.
Eugene, I'd never give you an hour. You know that.
I know. I'll lose my mind. But man, I love Anthony, but some of the things, Jurgen Klopp is the most toxic manager when they lose. He's scowl, he's yelling at the reporters, so that's a terrible example. I don't know why we need to pick like Ange's demeanor on the sidelines, Ange's like the way he talks to the reporters. To me, that's silly, but I don't want to get into it. to me, that's nitpicking. Those things are silly. About the game, I was 1000% right last time I talked to you, right? When I said we get up for big games, the players seem motivated, but for Fulham, I wouldn't be surprised if we lose or draw. And that again goes back to the mentality of the players. Anthony was talking about Madison, that once he's in his 10 role, he's gonna do great things. But half of the last year he played in the 10, he was terrible. So it's not Ange looking thing.
He's not being again. We're doing it. He's not being terrible. Even last year, his stats for the number of games played weren't terrible. But there's a difference between playing in the number 10 role. This is where we differ massively. There's a difference between being a number 10 that's allowed to play in the number 10 and being a number 10 that's got two inverted fullbacks alongside you, as well as Johnson cutting in, as well as Kulu in there, as well as Solanke. Saturday, we saw Madison was the only attacking midfielder in that middle area, and it works. That's how he's used to playing. For me, that's where we do disagree. I agree with your first point about getting up for big games, but for me, again, James Maddison has got the most goal contribution at the club again this season. It's not by accident. It's because he's a good player.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Savva. I'm going to look at Ashmatik's breakdown, but tactics-wise, yes, we might have dropped the line, but the fullback still inverted. The goal that Porro scored, right? He was going inside. So I don't think Ange changed it up completely where we say, well, now look, this works.
I disagree completely. I mean, there's a difference when we're on the counter-attack like we were for Porro's goal and Porro's busted a gut to get up there. That's different from when we have 70% possession and Porro and Udogie are playing in the other team's half in the middle of the pitch. There's a huge, huge difference. If anyone watched that game and didn't think that, I mean, the back four was a back four. For the first time, we had a back four. There was no inverting when we didn't have the ball. I mean, there was no inverting. We had a back four, two sitting in front of them. Madison was a playmaker. It worked. You know, he had Kulu coming back and tracking back. His man, Son, coming back and tracking back and helping out. But for me, there's a difference. I think people are not understanding what inverting means. Inverting isn't Porro getting forward to help score a goal. We're talking about when we've got the ball. Porro and Udogie in that game weren't inverted. They were out wide. They were defensively in their positions.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to see it again, but I believe you. But ultimately, again, it's this.
Eugene, we had about 39% possession. So
but that's
of course they were back in that. They were in that position.
I mean, against Villa, we didn't play the same way. So all I'm saying is Ange does need to adapt more to the teams we're playing. But for some reason, the world-class managers, even though, I don't think that Unai is a world-class manager but he got pumped last 2 games, 8 goals, right? So it's not like, these tactics don't work. All we got to do is drop the back line, 10 feet deeper and everything's going to be great. I don't think it's that simple, right? Ange does need to adapt to the teams that we're playing, but it's not as simple as, Davis and Dragoshin. I mean, they got pumped in Turkey, the same back too, right?
Why? What was the difference in? But again, this is disingenuous. Why?
So are you saying that if he drops the back line against Galatasaray, they're not going to pump us? I just don't think those defenders are that good.
But again, if we're going to have a tactical conversation, let's have a tactical conversation, Eugene. You can't just say drop the 2 centre halves. Look at the difference between how we set up against City and how we set up against Galatasaray. First and foremost, you had two inverting fullbacks that were playing high up on a high line with Davis and Dragoshin, right? Which is suicide. You had 1 midfielder in there and then 2 attacking midfielders. You had 2 wingers that weren't coming back to help their man, right? All of that was the complete opposite against City. Against City, you had 2 fullbacks that stayed as fullbacks. You had a line after the first 10 minutes when we saw we were getting torn apart in the first 10 minutes. They were getting in behind us for fun. We dropped it 10 yards, played on the edge of our box. They couldn't get in behind as much, right? We had two men sitting in front of them in Sarr and Basuma that did all that work, not allowing the ball to come through. Right? Then you had Kulu. He dropped in to help defend. Son dropped in to help defend. Right? We can't just say, if he had done that against Galatasaray, yeah, you probably win that game as well. But against Galatasaray, he got it all sorts of wrong.
Maybe. Again, perhaps we'll see how it goes. I mean, at least, I mean, it's good to see that, yes, Ange can adapt. But again,
yeah, sure. Absolutely.
For me, it's the players. And again, when I say that Madison was terrible, of course, he wasn't terrible. I was being hyperbolic. But based on my expectations, or based on our expectations of what he should be doing versus what he did when he came back from injury, right? That wasn't close to meeting expectations.
What did Hoddle say about Madison? What did Glenn Hoddle say about James Madison? By the way, Glenn Hoddle, the greatest player that's played for this football club. What did he say about him?
I don't know what.
He said, if I'm James Madison, I'm telling everyone, get out of my way. Stop playing in my area. He said, you look up. He said, you've got Porro next to him. You've got Adogi next to him. You've got Son, he's cut inside. Kulu's come inside. Solanke's dropped in. Hoddle said, go away. Get away from me. I'm a playmaker. Let me play. Let me make the play happen. Look, I agree with you that what we can't do, though, is every time we lose a game, it's the players. When we win a game, Ange is a genius.
Oh, for
this
sure.
is
I
where,
agree.
But
I
you
agree.
just said it's the players. Was it the players' fault at Galatasaray, or was it the god-awful tactics that allowed Galatasaray to get in behind us every 5 seconds?
No, it's both. Like, it's never black and white, right? It's never, the players are great or it's Ange's fault. It's always a combination of both. The question is, how much does Ange need to adapt, and how much are the tactics responsible for when, for example, we don't break down the low block, versus when are the players at fault when the pass is available? Like, I've seen many times when the pass is available or when a shot is available, we don't take it, even though the players are in the right positions, right? So it's the scale, it's a sliding scale about whether they execute or whether the tactics are incorrect.
I hear you, but like Galatasaray, for example, I mean, that was the tactics all day, every day. It was set up so terribly. You go into one of the toughest grounds in Europe with a horrible atmosphere against people like Victor Osimhen, and you play a high line, only one midfielder, two attacking midfield. It's like you're asking to get beaten. Listen, I think let's look at the positives. I think what he did was brilliant on Saturday. But now all of a sudden, those people that wanted us to say he adapted or he can adapt, when we say he's adapted, that's not enough. Now people want to go, well, we still did those things. We didn't play inverted fullbacks at the weekend at all. We didn't play two attacking midfielders. We were solid. We were compact. And that, for me, should be a blueprint against anybody. That for just for me, Eugene. But look, we won 4-0.
You're right, exactly. No, and that's why I'm saying I'm taking it one game at a time. I know before you mentioned that maybe that's not how you would do it. For me, knowing this club, knowing how we play, we're gonna have some miserable moments. So, after a great game, I'm gonna be happy. I'll celebrate. Whether that translates to us winning, probably not. I'm still hopeful about the Cubs, but that's the way you can take it. Otherwise, with this club,
listen, absolutely. I think, though, Eugene, I do need to let you go because I need to get Tommy on and then I need to go. But I do think a lot of people were happy. It's the same thing what happens in this fan base, though. Rather than lots of fans allowing fans to be happy, they came at them. Gutted. Angie's great. He's put you in. It's like, what are you doing? We've just won a game 4-0. Why are you not celebrating? Why is your first fault to dig out someone else?
Because you know what this is the gen, right? Like, people have their minds set up and they're waiting for an excuse to justify their opinions. So, and that's what it is. And
I didn't see those same people after Ipswich, though, right? So
exactly.
Look, Eugene, I'm going to let you go, bro. I'm going to get Tommy on. And listen, take care, bro. Thank you.
All best to you.
Big up to you. I'm going to bring Tommy on now. Thank you to everyone in the chat. This will be the last caller, and then I really, really, really have to go out. Big up, Tommy, and thank you for your patience.
That's all right. How you doing? You all right?
I'm all right, mate. I'm all right. What are you? Are you a Spurs fan? I get the feeling you're not. You're a West Ham fan.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I did see the Hammers. Yeah. How you doing? You good?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm really good. I thought I'd pop on because I popped on with your mate the other day and we was having a good chat. And I think, do you know what it is? I think I get on with a level, like I'm sort of the same level-headed as you are. Like, I know I'm only 25, but like, I think because I had the season to get West Ham for 10 years, I think I sort of seen football through a different lens to other people. And that's not me looking down, but I think I've just got a very different way of looking at football. Like, the way I see it as the only person that's probably like he's really happy with this result is Levy. He's thinking, look, like 4-0. Everyone that don't like Ange is going to be laughed at because, let's be honest, everyone... What the owners love when other people have different opinions because then they never come together. So you have the people that are going, oh, Angie's great, and you've got the other ones that oh, I ain't sold on him. What that does is it divides the fan base, and they're loving that. That means there will be no pressure on them. And I always say, it's always down to the owners, 100%, always.
Yeah, I think it's interesting what you say. It all depends on what lens people look through.
Yeah.
Right. And look, I'm someone, I understand that my view will not be always favourable because I try to have a look at football, which isn't just I'm Spurs, we're amazing.
No, that's the thing.
You know,
I put my football hat on. I'm a West Ham fan, but I'm a football fan first.
Yeah,
I get into debates with people, I hate when they go, "Oh yeah, but you're a West Ham fan. What do you know about this?" It's like, well, I'm a football fan first more than anything. Yeah. Like I watch football every day. I live football.
Trust me, as someone that's gone on many panel shows. Not as many anymore. And someone would go, what do you think about Liverpool's chances of winning the league? I'd say, oh, I don't know. I don't think they will. What do you know? You're Spurs.
You're a Tottenham fan. What would you know? You know to bottle it. Yeah, I know.
Look, the way I look at football is this. Look, I think that I think it's really important to be able to take a step back sometimes. And rather than just say every one of your own team are amazing and everyone else's players are shit, I think it's important to be able to take a step back and go, what's the bigger picture? And I get it. Some fans don't want to do that, Tommy. I get it. I'm not telling them what to do.
What people want to do is they want to win the small battles. They want to win the small battles that mean nothing. Like, oh yeah, look at that player. He's better. Look, I told you he was great. He had like one good game out of 20. Yeah, but you said he was crap. It was his first good game in 20 games. What does that say? Do you know what I mean? But no, I've got a Tottenham fan at work, Kane, and I speak to him a lot about obviously the mentality at your club, and it's the mentality at most clubs. Like he told me about the story. I don't know. You've probably heard it, Savva. It's the one where I think it was a week before the Champions League final. Levy give all of them watches. Yeah. That just says that's just what it says. I know I'll probably get loads of people. Oh, he's a Spurs fan. I just love football. I've watched all the Premier League years. I know what's going on. I know how it goes. I know you'll lose to Fulham next week about 4-0. So I know what's going to happen.
Look, I think it's interesting, right? Like for example, I did a show earlier today, and someone brought up, oh, I think if Mo Salah goes, Kulu's the natural replacement. And as a Spurs fan, really when I sit there and say, listen, Kulu's a very good player, but to be a replacement for a Mo Salah, who's world class, who scores loads, who assists loads, who wins games on his own, these are two very, very different things. Straight away, you're not a Spurs fan. Hang on, what? What? Because I think Mo Salah's better than Kulusevski. That's the era we're in, mate. And I get it. Those people I've got a lot of respect for, because to go on to panel shows and debate shows as a Spurs fan and try to banter big clubs that win trophies, that's a special kind of arrogance.
Like West Ham.
Yeah. It's a special kind of arrogance. But again, at the same time, when I used to go on to those sort of shows, because I wouldn't stick up for Spurs through thick and thin if it wasn't what I believed, I'd be told, "Oh, you're twerking for the opposition."
Like, no, you don't.
It's all a bit silly.
I slag West Ham more than often any other person. Like I slag West Ham. I ain't one of them to go, "Oh, it's only West Ham, ain't this?" No, I slag them off even more. I went to West Ham games for 10 years. I know what it's like. I've been relegated. I've been there doing the conga on the last day of the season. Like, all because I slagged the team off doesn't mean I love them. If anything, I feel like if you do slag the team off, you do tell how it is. I feel like you've got more of a, like, I'm not saying you do love them more, but I feel like you've got more of a connection sort of thing. Like, you call it out. Like, I call it out all the time. That's why I don't buy. That's why I gave up my season ticket, because I ain't giving money to them. They don't. Yeah, they won a trophy, but it's the way everything. And I hate when people say, "Oh yeah, but if you do it, not someone else will." If you feel like that, then that's up to you. But it does work. Some people.
Tommy, you're the West Ham Savva. Listen, it's why I don't go. It's why I won't pay Daniel Levy. Everyone says, "Oh, if you're a real Spurs, you'll go." I spent years going, right? And let's be fair, it's a whole day, hours to get there. You're out there for hours. You're spending hundreds of pounds. For me, start buying some top players. I'll start going. Start showing me you've got ambition.
Yeah, but this the thing is, though, Savva. Just look, this is this.
Oh, you're on mute. You've got
spend 100 million.
You're back.
Yeah,
You're back.
no, it's because my mate was ringing me.
Okay.
No, I'm back now. No, yeah, but to me, it's not always about like they'll go to us. Oh, West Ham are spending loads of money. To me, it's not about the money. It's how you spend it. You could my owner could spend £1 billion, but he could buy 10p worth of players. It doesn't matter to me. It's always about how you spend the money. Like you guys could spend a little bit of money, but you could get more worth your money. Like we bought Payet for 11 million. Look how good he was. So there's players out there. It's all about scouting.
He was different. He was different class, Dimitri Payet. Listen, Tommy, I feel like next time I do one of these, come on. I don't want to be rude, but I am like 15 minutes behind where I'm meant to be.
You got your curry. Go have your curry.
No, you're all good. You're all good. Listen, I do one of these every week. Feel free to come on. Dimitri Payet, I'd love to see that sort of a player in the Premier League again. Listen, stay strong with your convictions. You tell them how it is, and we'll take over the world one by one, all right?
One question. What curry are you having?
Mate, don't. No, if I start that conversation, I'm going to be ripped to pieces.
All I'm going to say is going out quicker than it is going in. That's what I'm going to
say. Cheers, mate. I'll see you soon, all right? Take care, buddy. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Big up, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Sorry it was earlier than normal, and I now need to get my skates on and be somewhere that's 20 minutes away in the next 15 minutes. Take care, everyone. Thank you for watching. Smash the like button. Please subscribe. And as always, come on, you Spurs.